Hi, my name's Kylie and I'm in Miss Short's Service Learning online class, and I did my project on grassroots educators and I entitled it Changing the World One Person at a Time. The first person I chose is Septima Clark, who was born on May 3rd, 1898 in Charleston, South Carolina. Both of her parents encouraged her to get an education, so she attended public school and then worked hard enough so she could attend the Avery Normal Institute, which was a private school for African Americans. Clark qualified as a teacher, but Charleston did not allow African Americans to be teachers, so she became an instructor at South Carolina's John Island in 1916. In 1919, Septima returned to Charleston to teach at the Avery Normal Institute. This is where she also joined the NAACP to try and get the city to hire African American teachers. She then married her late husband in 1920, who died 5 years later of kidney failure. Clark then moved to Columbia, South Carolina, where she still taught, and she joined the local chapter of NAACP. Clark worked with the organization and with Thurgood Marshall on a 1945 case that wanted equal pay for black and white teachers. She described it as her first effort in a social action. Her salary increased ×3 when the case was won. In 1956, South Carolina made it illegal for public employees to belong to civil rights groups. Clark refused to renounce the NAACP and, as a result, lost her job. Clark was next hired by Tennessee's Highlander Folk School, an institution that supported integration and the civil rights movement. She soon started directing Highlander's citizenship school program. These schools helped regular people learn how to instruct others in their communities in basic literacy and math skills. One particular benefit of this teaching was that more people were then able to register to vote. In 1961, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference took over this education project. Clark then joined the SCLC as its Director of Education and Teaching. Under her leadership, more than 800 citizenship schools were created. Clark retired from the SCLC in 1970. In 1979, Jimmy Carter honored her with a Living Legacy Award. She received the Order of the Palmetto, South Carolina's highest civilian honor, in 1982. In 1987, Clark's second autobiography, Ready from Within, Septima Clark and Civil Rights, won an American Book Award. Clark was 89 when she died on Johns Island on December 15, 1987. Over her long career of teaching and civil rights activism, she helped many African Americans begin to take control of their lives and discover their full rights as citizens. The next person I chose from the grassroots educators is Miles Horton. Miles Falls Horton was born on July 9, 1905 in a rural area near Savannah, Tennessee, to Elsie Falls and Perry Horton, educators who later worked an assortment of jobs. Though growing up with limited financial resources, Horton was taught by his parents to value others in his community as well as the power of organizing. Horton attended Cumberland University in the 1920s, experiencing ethnic diversity. After studying at Union Theological Seminary and the University of Chicago by the start of the 1930s, Horton traveled to Europe. He visited and scrutinized the folk schools of Denmark, which emphasized social engagement of issues over more dogmatic academic styles of learning. While abroad, Horton was determined to create a school in his home region that would focus on people sharing and analyzing their experiences, using revelations to effect social change and initiate self-growth. With a group of others, he started the Southern Mountain School, later renamed the Highlander Folk School, in 1932 in Tennessee. Highlander was known for its advocacy for the impoverished and labor organizing, working with the Congress of Industrial Organizations, and implementing training programs. The school later initiated classes for the African American students with the intent of driving voter registration and became a place for discussing civil rights movement strategies. Highlander, thus, was a unique oasis in the legally segregated state where black and white citizens freely commingled. People who attended and or taught at Highlander include Rosa Parks, Pete Seeger, Julian Bond, Eleanor Roosevelt, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Fannie Lou Hamer, and Septima Clark. Highlander faced opposition from regional governmental forces as well as the Ku Klux Klan, with staff being physically attacked in the organization, facing slurs and accusations of communism from political conservatives. The school was shut down by the state in 1961, only to be reopened immediately by Horton as the Highland Research and Education Center, relocating to Knoxville. Horton believed in the importance of the pluralistic, free-thinking society that deviated from systems of indoctrination often put forth by traditional education. People are creative, Horton said at age 75 in a television interview on Bill Mower's Journal. You've got to allow them to do a lot of thinking that don't fit any kind of system. Miles Horton died in Newmarket on January 19, 1990, of brain cancer. He was survived by his 2 children. Books on his life include his autobiography, The Long Haul, and We Make the Road by Walking, Conversations on Education and Social Change by Paulo Freire. Both works were published in the year of his passing. I'm now going to talk about Highlander's Folk School and tie the two individuals together. Highlander Folk School, now known as Highlander Research and Education Center, was founded by Miles Horton in 1932. This is where early civil rights strategies were mapped out. At Highlander, white and black activists, including Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks, regularly met in the 1950s and talked about how they might change the South, and here that many people trained for the civil rights movement. Because it was so controversial, the Highlander Folk School was shut down by the state government and its assets seized. However, a successor organization known as the Highlander Research and Education Center still exists in East Tennessee. This is also where Septima Clark taught after she was fired from her job in Charleston. Rosa Parks actually attended one of her workshops she taught there. This photo below, taken by FBI agent, shows Martin Luther King Jr., Pete Seeger, Rosa Parks, and Ralph Abernathy at Highlander in 1957. Clark and Horton both used Highlander's Folk School to change their world. Miles Horton opened it to have a school in his region that focused on people analyzing and sharing their experiences to effect social change and initiate growth in society. Septima Clark used Highlander's Folk School to start directing Highlander's Citizenship School program. These schools helped regular people learn how to instruct others in their communities in basic literacy and math skills. One particular benefit